Hi everyone, thanks for being here. I'm Mandy, and in today's video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about having an ISA or inside sales agent on your real estate team. What does an ISA do? An ISA's primary responsibility is to work on the telephone, I would say about 90% of the day, trying to generate appointments so that the prospective buyers or sellers can meet with their agents and hopefully cultivate business and transactions. You can either put ads out in the community on social media or on signs to advertise your business, and that can drive phone calls to come into the business, or you can have lead lists, expired listings, for sale by owner listings. You can do circle prospecting. You can get all kinds of lead lists from different services like VULCAN and REDX. There's a couple different companies that provide those out there, and then you can just make outbound calls. Regarding your ISA position, they should only be focused on generating business, working with leads, and trying to schedule appointments. That's it, nothing else. They should not be doing other receptionist duties or administrative support or accounting or anything like that. We all know how the real estate business works. Once you're done working with a seller or a buyer, you don't have anybody else to work with, right? So you always need incoming clients to be coming in the door. That's why you have an ISA on the team. Their objective is to make sure that that door is constantly open and people are constantly coming through to meet with your agents for buyers appointments or sellers appointments. So who is best suited for an ISA position? I always look for the 4 C's. There's 4 things you want to look for. The number 1 C is compassionate. You want your ISA to care about people. Not just say they care, but genuinely care about people. Have a heart and feel what they're feeling. They have to know empathy. When you call and speak to a seller who's frustrated because they just can't get their house sold and they don't know why, you have to put yourself in their shoes and really care about what they're going through. Because if they care about people, that's going to come through on the phone. So make sure you've got a compassionate ISA. Secondly, you want somebody that communicates really well. Communicates well on the phone and also in writing. You are speaking to hundreds of people every week. All types of conversations are going on in different stages. You want to make sure that you're great with details and you're a really good communicator. Also, you want your ISA to be committed or consistent with their work. They can't get tired of making their daily dials. They have to commit to the process. Sometimes it feels like nothing is happening on the phone. I can't get anyone to pick up. The people that are picking up are being so nasty. Why am I even making these calls? Forget those thoughts, because this is a numbers game, folks. This is all about volume. The more calls you make, the more opportunities you're going to create. So you want an ISA who is committed and consistent. The very last C that I'm going to tell you about is a little icing on the ISA cake, if you will. You want somebody that is competitive. Somebody that wants to win. Somebody that gets frustrated if they don't get that listing appointment that they've been working on and it goes to somebody else. I mean, you want to be nice and civil, but you want to have that desire to win, because real estate is very competitive. There's so many agents. They're like everywhere. When you have that desire to win, that is going to spur you to make more phone calls, to make more contacts, to have more conversations. If you have the 4th C, competitive, you really have the icing on the ISA cake. Where does your ISA work? There's a couple different setups. You can have your ISA work directly in the office with you, making the calls there, or they can work remotely from home. There's really no need for them to be in the office because everything is done online. I've been doing that for several years now, and it's been quite productive. Or you can have an ISA that is not directly hired by your team and trained by your team, but they are instead contracted out through ISA companies, and they can work somewhere in a call center, but they're not associated with your team. They're contracted out. So there's different setups as to where the ISA operates. All they really need is a phone, and it can be an online phone, and they need a computer. That's it. When is a good time to make phone calls? There's a lot of different theories on this, and I'm going to share with you what I know. Anytime is a good time to make phone calls. Now, there's certain times of the day when I don't feel comfortable calling. Generally after 7 o'clock, I don't feel comfortable. People are done with a long work day, they're settling in for the evening, they're with their families. I don't want to bother them unless they tell me, you know what, I'm busy now, call me back after 7. Then that's a different story. Rule of thumb is morning is the best time, and the reason for that is when your calling expires, I know those lead lists are released early in the morning. So everybody is going to get those lead lists at the same time, and you want to be one of the first people to call the leads. You don't want to be caller number 30 or 40, because at that time the leads are no longer answering the phone call. Now, some people will call as early as 8 a.m., but I never do that. The earliest that I've called leads is 8:30 in the morning. I generally start calling around 9 o'clock. 9 to 12 are prime calling hours. Between 12 and 2, things get pretty quiet, and then another good time to resume your calls would be from 3 to 7. That being said, if you guys have a doctor's appointment in the morning and you can't jump on the phones until noon, don't refrain from calling because you're not in the optimal hour. Pick up that phone and call. You want to get your dials in. I'm not so much about the time of day that I'm calling, I'm more about the volume of dials that I've made for that day. Volume equals victory. The more dials you make, the more conversations you're going to have, the more conversations, the more appointments, the more appointments, the more listings, the more listings, the more sales. That's how it goes. So don't be overly concerned about when you're calling. Just make sure that you or your ISA is calling. Why do you need an ISA? Well, if you haven't kind of discovered that already, let me try to summarize it for you really quickly here. If you're a new agent, you should be both the agent and the ISA. You should be making the calls for yourself because you're trying to create business for yourself as you're launching your new real estate career. Now, if you have a team and you've got agents that are working with buyers and are not really at their desk a lot, and they're quite busy, and you want to ensure that they stay busy and that there's constantly new customers, new sellers and buyers coming through that door, investing in an ISA is a very smart decision because, again, this person is going to be 100% focused on looking for new business on the telephone. The telephone is really something that has never gone out of style. I know we got all kinds of great social media to advertise our business on nowadays, but the phone is golden. There is so much revenue that can come in the door through the telephone, and to have one person on your team dedicated to that sole purpose is really going to take your business to new heights. I really think that investing in an ISA for 2022 could be a good thing for you. I hope you found this video to be helpful. If so, please leave me a thumbs up down below and consider subscribing to the channel. I'll see you next time.